So have you ever asked Siri, am I depressed? According to a report in the Washington Post, Apple is working on features designed to detect depression, anxiety, autism, as well as the cognitive decline that can develop into Alzheimer's and other kinds of dementia. The features would reportedly use extensive personal data collected by sensors on devices like iPhones and Apple Watches, including information about users' sleep patterns, physical activity, typing behavior, and more. Here to talk more about this new technology are the host of Talking Live and the podcast Bite Size with Dr. Robi Ludwig and editor of Tech Reference for Insider. That's William Antonelli. Welcome both. Doctor, let's start with you. The obvious question here is, isn't it the phone itself that's making us depressed?
Well, the phone certainly can make us depressed. And I guess if there is some kind of strategy to determine that via phone, that's a very interesting idea. Listen, I think if this information is used for the good, then of course it can be very exciting. The question really is transparency. And I don't know how many people trust technology to be used to their benefit.
Well, William, let's pick up on that because I guess the first question is, how does it work? How will the phone know that we're depressed or in cognitive decline? Is it based on what we search, or are there other factors involved?
Well, the first thing I really want to stress is that this is just at most in the idea stage, the very early idea stage. Personally, I'm very skeptical of any device that claims it can tell whether you're depressed, whether you have cognitive decline through your phone's motion or through your typing. This is technology that various other companies have tried to implement throughout the years, and it's never worked quite well. It's hard enough to diagnose mental illness in real life. I have a lot of doubt that consumer-grade technology, like the kind you would find on an average iPhone, is going to be able to do that with any sort of accuracy.
Well, the point well taken. But Doctor, I guess the other thing that I thought of this afternoon was that we use these phones happily to count our steps, to clock our miles, to track our heart rate, all of these things. So what's really different about that? Is it a quantum leap to get to this step?
Well, it certainly is, because a lot of people are very private about their mental health, and they don't want that information leaked. Sometimes they don't even want to tell their closest family and friends. So there is that issue of privacy that really needs to be respected. And there's another issue of trust. Will these companies be transparent in terms of, is this really working? Is this information being shared? One of the reasons why the doctor-patient relationship works so well is because it's based on a relationship of trust. The patient knows that the information that's shared during a session is not shared with anybody else. And that's when you get the most real information from a patient, knowing that it's safe.
William,
I'm
sorry, Doc. Go ahead and finish up.
No, so there are a lot of questions here. I think people are very suspicious about companies and technology and the information that they're gathering and how that information will be used and whether reports will share, whether this type of information gathering benefits people or does not. So there's a lot more to learn before we dive into this.
Well, William, I think we'd all be horrified if we knew what the phone knew about us and what the phone companies knew about us. I guess leave us with this. If you could argue that we're addicted to our phones. We all know the panic that we have even when we don't have the phone for a minute. So I guess one of the questions or suggestions might be put the phone down for a little bit, huh?
Well, it's complicated. There's on one hand, there's smartphone addiction, but on the other hand, there's smartphone necessity. Companies like Apple have increasingly pushed our lives onto the phone. It's very hard to exist in the modern era without using your phone in some way. In that case, I can't really put the onus on the individual smartphone user to put down their phone. Rather, I would have to put the pressure on a company like Apple or other companies similar, Google, for example, to try and make sure that it's not totally necessary to have a phone to live in the real world.
Yeah, and you don't need it for music either, especially when you have it built in right behind you. That's the convenient thing. Dr. Robi Ludwig and William Antonelli, we talked about it a lot this afternoon, and we appreciate you joining us with your thoughts and insight tonight. Take care.
Thank you so